Autodesk Vault, replicating a Vault database to a subscriber using the alternate snapshot method. Why and when would you use the alternate snapshot method? Why? It's a faster way to deliver a Vault database to a subscriber, especially when you are working over slow networks. And when would you use it? You would use the alternate snapshot method after the Knowledge Vault master has been replicated, when the network is slow, when replicating a database, when following a reinitialization, and after you've applied an update or you're upgrading to a newer version of Vault. So why use the snapshot? In some rudimental testing that I've done, where I've taken a 3 GB database and set the latency to be about 160 milliseconds, which is quite bad. When we were using, or when I was using the continuous method, this is the default out of the box method to deliver the snapshot, the consumption of that snapshot took 81 minutes. And using the alternate snapshot method, it took me 13 minutes. And that 13 minutes, it is a more manual process. You have to zip up the snapshot folder, copy it across the network, and then unzip it the other side. So each one of those stages, the amount of time that it takes is going to depend on a number of different factors, such as the hardware performance, CPU, the memory. It's also going to depend on what method you use to transfer that data from the publisher to the subscriber or subscribers, and then also the hardware when you're unzipping it as well. So the high level steps, you would replicate a database from the ADMS console. You would go into the ADMS console and you would manage replication, and you would send a database over to a specific subscriber. If it's the first time that this is happening, you would wait for the snapshot to complete. That could take 5 minutes. Once the snapshot is complete, the merge agent on the subscriber then leaps into action, and it starts to then consume that snapshot. And it's that part of the process that can be very slow. So you would stop the merge agent on the subscriber, edit it with the variable that I'm going to show you later. And then once you've done that, then you would start to compress the snapshot back on the publisher, transfer the compressed snapshot. Again, there are various methods that you can use to transfer the compressed snapshot. That possibly the easiest way to do that is to just copy it using robocopy over the network. That's going to be faster. Another way, or other customers methods that they've used cloud storage. So they've used OneDrive or Amazon Drive or something like that. They've uploaded the file to the cloud storage, and then once it's all uploaded, which could take a day or two, they've then gone to the subscriber and downloaded it there. Other customers have they've decided that the database is so big, it's actually faster if they just zip it up onto a USB disk and send it via courier, or if they've got an employee that's going to that site, then they ask the employee to take that USB drive with them and then deliver it to their IT department when they get to the other end. We can once the snapshot has been delivered, you need to decompress it on the subscriber, and then you start the merge agent again, and you wait for the snapshot to be consumed on the subscriber. And then once it's been consumed on the subscriber, you stop the merge agent, set it back to the default settings, and then you start it again. And that is how you do it. So I'm now going to go through the process of showing you how to do this step by step. So here I have my publisher. I've got this database, and here is my ADMS console, my Autodesk Data Management Server console. This server is called Pub VAA, and my subscriber, hopefully not confusingly, is called VAA Sub. So one's got the publisher in the title, one's got subscriber in the title. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I go into the work groups and I manage the replication. This is the name of the database that I would like to manage to replicate over to my subscriber. This is the first time that I'm doing this, so it needs to create the snapshot, and that's going to take a minute or so. I can come into my SQL Server Management Studio and just hit refresh, and we can have a look, and we can see in here that the publication has now been created. We can have a look at the replication monitor just to see the progress of that agent, and we can see the agent is preparing. We can right click and we can say view details. This here is showing an error because this is the merge. This is the message that they're getting from the SQL Server is getting from the subscriber, and the subscriber is saying the initial snapshot for the publication is not yet available. So we know this. So this snapshot is being created in my snapshot folder. It's not important for me to describe where it is. This is just where it is. And we basically just have to wait for that to get to 100% and to finish. It's going to take a few minutes, so now I'll just fast forward this. Okay, so it's now reached 100%, so I'm going to switch over to the subscriber, and I'm going to stop the merge agent on the subscriber. Stop. Okay, so let's just have a look and see how big that's become. So far it's in the initial stages of being created. So what I need to do is I need to, in the merge agent, this is the merge agent here for this specific database, I need to come in here and I need to look at the properties, click on the steps tab, and by default the job step list, there's only one, so I need to edit that. And it's this command line that we need to modify. Currently this is saying continuous. I don't like to modify this here. So what I'd like to do is I like to open it up in Notepad. So that I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And so I can also copy and paste that in here so that I can do a comparison. So we need to change this switch here from continuous, and we need to put Alt Snapshot folder in there. We also need to define the location of the snapshot folder, and I'm going to say SQL snapshot, and copy that and paste that in there. Okay, so Alt Snapshot folder and space and then folder location. I'm going to click OK. So the agent is still stopped. So it's not consuming anything. We can double check that. If we go into the local subscriptions and we click on view synchronization status, the replication merge agent failed to change metadata on one or more databases at the subscriber when applying the initial snapshot. Okay, so it's telling me that there's a problem, but it's a problem that we've created. So what we need to do is this snapshot here. I'm going to go up one folder to save us having to recreate this folder. I'm going to use a tool called 7-Zip. It's a free tool, but there's a couple of gotchas with this. This is a useful tool. This is better than just using the compress out of the box default Windows feature. When I've used this, I've got much better compression rates and the compression is faster. And the reason that it's faster is because you have different compression methods. The one that I've found to be most effective is the LZMA2, and you can also choose the number of CPU threads. So you can also choose the different size of the file. You can split it, you can chunk it off. And that's useful if you're uploading to cloud storage, because if you have a file that when it's zipped, compressed is 4 or 5 gigabytes and there's an interruption in the upload or the download, it can be really frustrating to start it all over again. We're not going to be getting anywhere near those sizes. This database is going to compress relatively quickly. So I'm just going to change the number of CPU threads away from the default to 8, and then I'm going to click OK, and this is going to take a minute or two. Okay, so that file is now compressed and it is 247 megabytes. So it's been compressed down from 1.6 gigabytes down to 247 megabytes. So I now need to transfer this over to the subscriber. Whatever method you choose to be the most suitable, then use that. I'm doing this in a virtual environment, so I can very quickly come in here into the settings for this environment, and I can enable folder sharing on the publisher. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to copy this over to my network share. Going to paste that in there. And whilst that's copying over, I'm going to do a similar thing on the subscriber. So I'm going to copy this over now. So copy that to my local disk. Going to copy that over, and I'm just going to extract here. This is going to take a minute or two. Okay, so slightly less than a minute. So I just want to check I've got the correct folder name. SQL Snapshot is the name of the folder. And it's going to be expecting to be in a folder called UNC. So I'm going to cut and paste that in there. And now that the snapshot is on the subscriber's local disk, I can start this and it will begin consuming it. One thing that I need to do is I need to check that it is in fact consuming it from the local disk. So I've got this publication database. This is still saying it's pointing towards the publisher. So how do I know that it's looking at the subscriber or the local disk rather than the remote disk? One way you can do that is by running a tool called Process Monitor, and just reset it and run it and do a search for REPL merge, REPL merg. And once you've found that, you can choose include, and you can see that it's looking at a bunch of folders, but it's actually looking also at C SQL snapshot. So I'm quite confident that it's actually consuming it from the local folder. And if we come in here, we can have a look at the properties of this database, and it's nearly finished already. It's on 3 gig just in a couple of minutes. So it's jumped from 200 meg to 300 megabytes in, or 3000 megabytes in just a couple of minutes. So I'm expecting in the next minute or so, maybe 2 minutes, this will go to a message that will tell me that all of the changes have been applied to the local database, and I then need to go and edit the merge agent to go back to what it was before I edited it. Okay, so this message here applied the snapshot and merged 0 data changes. This tells me that it's now complete. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to edit the merge agent again. And because I was very clever and I copied this here, I can just paste it back in here. Click OK, click OK. And now I can stop the job and start it back up again. And when I do this, if there has been any changes in the actual database that have been created since the snapshot was created, then it's now going to merge the delta or enumerate the changes. It's done that now, and it's waiting 60 seconds before polling for further changes. So in summary, it seems quite a complicated process to do this, but this is much faster than waiting for it to use the default merge agent profile. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you very much.